And as you come back with another layer of something, it pushes the land back. And I guess you can kind of do almost anything when you decide or don't decide. I'm going to take a little, since I got so much white in there, I'm going to see if I can lift a little of it out in here, those parts. I'm going to let that dry, and then I'll come back and put a really thin coat of blue in this area. Really thin. I probably could do that now. That way the whole thing has been addressed. The entire thing has been addressed. That may be too dark. Evergreens are extremely dark, but that may be too dark. Kind of different now, huh? Looks a little different now. I really think I would like to add this is a cheat. Sometimes I'm remembering I used to do quite a bit of arts and crafts. So I have this glitter, which is a real fine powdery glitter in white, and then I have this shimmering one. I think I'm going to go ahead and use this one because this one will give me a lot of attention, but this one will look just like snow, so maybe I'll stick with that. Let me get some matte medium and we'll go to work. All right. I'm using this card as a model for this one. And for a wintry scene, this has too much color in it. There's a lot of greens in it and the blues. And this one is blue grays. What I'm intending to do now is I'm going to add some acrylic paint. And see where that gets me. One thing I'll tell you, a note with watercolors, when you're painting with watercolors, you're supposed to have 2 containers of water, one for dirty water and one for clean water. And I keep neglecting that fact, but that's okay. Because now what I'm going to do is whiten up this background with some, I have some titanium white in here. This is a blue-gray color. I'll tell you what, I'll do that. Payne's gray or something. And let's see, that's a blue. One thing we hate, and that is to use a lot of white. I'm going to add this down here. Where the water is. So I'm just graying this up a little bit. Because that was a little too blue. And I'll add more white. That gray, I guess. Having a little difficulty with the camera, but to catch up to par, I added some more white and blue-gray back in here to further tone down the trees in that area. So now what I want to do, I like the way the red is. I only put 2 in, trying to keep in, I think that's a nice focal point. So what I'm going to do now is ease in the word peace somewhere in here. And that's somewhat dry. I'm not sure if it is going to write, if the graphite is going to show up well enough. Let me move this watercolor paints out of the way. And so we will try it and see. I think close enough. Maybe not. Let's see. This is I think this is a brown color. Trying to keep these around the same height. Because I did not place any lines on it. Yeah, it's close. It's not great, but it's close. Not too sure how this is going to go over. It's always a gamble when you're trying to thin down the acrylic paints. The, what do you call that? Alizarin Crimson is super transparent. So I'm sort of mixing up these reds. I was attempting to lean towards that. Getting it to a nice consistency that would cause it to flow may be too thin. Sorry about the not talking. Almost like full concentration is needed. That brush is a little too limp. Put the water over here so that I do not have an accident with that. Try and fancy that up. The lettering is not. It is nowhere near. I like this. These are a little too bulky. Probably would have been better if I had a thinner brush. But overall, move these over here so you can see them. Yeah, the lettering is not so great. A thinner brush would have probably been better at making these letters much thinner, but that's the gist of it. So you can really see the details on it. It's not a whole lot of details. And the birds, just a cardinals, just a general shape. No details are really on that. If you want to, you can go back and add like some of the, I didn't put any of the black details for the face and for the feathers above the head area. You can, if you have a fine ink pen, go back in and play with that.